All right, so let's see how we're going to implement a class to find sum, average, product, and factorial of a group of data using array. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a method sum, right? And showing you that you can pass an array, return sum back. And then average pretty much just divided by the size of the array. And product is the same concept here, right? So you might want to use loop inside the each method here. All right, so requirements said you have to use overloaded method for sum, average, and product. Okay, all the method must be static. Use array as a parameter for overload sum, average, and product methods. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand my mathematics, right? Which I have it reside in calculator package here. And I'm going to add the methods. Public and static. So it's going to return the sum. Let's see, it can be sum of decimal numbers. So find type should be double sum. Now, when I say overloaded, meaning that you have to have two methods just like that, right? Find area and find area, right? So with different signatures, right? So let's say the first one, I may say, okay, in num1, let's do double, right? We can do decimal numbers, num1 and double num2. So to find the sum, is pretty much just going to return num1, right, plus num2. So meaning that if the user pass in two numbers, return the sum by calling this method. And we add Java doc, right? So first number, right? Second number, return the sum of first and second numbers, right? Sum, calculate the sum of two numbers. So if you're using two numbers, this is the method for it. But if user happen to have a group of number, we're going to create a overloaded, right, method sum. And group of number talk about array. So we're going to create an array which is just provide a bracket in front, right, of the numbers. So we're going to say nums, right? So that's pretty much passing an array in. So now when you're passing an array in, we have to find a sum, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, okay, double total, initialize the local variables. This is going to be local. This total only value inside this sum. It's looking for to return total after it's add up, which we should use the loop, right? For int I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length. So nums is an array. When you dot length, you get the size of how many numbers in that array set, right? So it's going to do just loop through that by increment I, which how do I access to each number with an index, right? I, which is going to be 0 and keep changing, right? Then I can add that accumulating to the total by using plus equals. So this will just sum all the numbers, form an array, and return it in the total. Now let's test this program first, right? So I'm going to test this in my geometric activity here, right, on my Android app. So this app, pretty much I have one text field, right, that put the values in. It could just return the sum too. I may just edit the title a little bit, right? So if it's 1, so this is pretty much just find the area, right? So let me just create main activity here with Main activity here, I have one button that's taking me to geometric calculator to find the area, right? So I may just create another button. This is going to be a scientific calculator now, right? So this new button, I'm going to just go to get a button, drop it here, and let's rename this button to be let's make it a little bit nice by moving it down to the bottom. So, and this one, so I can just switch. So if user click this one, I'm going to take the user to find the sum and so on that we want to do average, right? Factorial. So let's put the title here as statistic, right? Calculator, right? And this one I just give an ID, say stat button, right? Alright, so when user click that, it's going to go to the statistics. Now, what we gonna do, we're going to create a new activity for statistic calculator. So let me show you how we do that. So you can right click, all right, on the activity here, right click and new, and then you just do activity, and then you can do empty activity here, right? And then just rename this to, this is statistics, right? Cal statistics activity, right? So it's going to generate layout for you, which is activity statistics. Hit finish. So that's the layout for activity statistics, right? Which you can start to because we going to pass in an array, right? It's going to find some. So at least we need text, right? So text fields that dealing with the numbers with decimal, right? So I'm going to call this as nums edit text instead, right? And normally I just shorten it to txt in the code, then I remember. So naming is very important when inside the activity code in Java code, then you pretty much know which element you're referring to. And I'm going to increasing the size a little bit and put the label for it. So let's go to the label purchase use text view here, right, to put some instruction to the user. So text view, I'm going to say, okay, enter set of numbers separated by space. Okay, so you can change the font type, okay, sizes too, okay, and same, I'm going to increasing the size of this, because since we're going to use sans serif then. Okay. Now, once the user entered, then we want to have the output, right? we can show the output. So I'm going to put another text view here. And just say, just change the sizes a little bit. And answer or output. Like this one, if I want to do the sum, I can say the sum then. Okay. And the sum, then I'm going to add another text field to show the sum. Okay, so we need to move it down, otherwise it's going to be overlapping the other object where the user try to enter in. Okay, now let me just say is. Alright, so let me give the name to this. So I'm going to say this edit text is going to be sum, right? And name edit txt. And this is just the sum label. So sum text txt view. Alright, so pretty much know all the names here. We ready to program, right? So we gotta go to program. This is just the GUI layout. So we gotta go to program. So this is statistic activity. So first thing, I'm going to set title. Then we know when you switch activities, go to statistics, right? Calculator. Alright, so we're on that page when user hit and hit the button. And now we're going to have to start to get the values from the user. Okay. So I'm going to get the first thing is the text view. I mean edit text. So that edit text name is nums. Right. So first edit text is the type. So I'm going to call nums edit txt equals to, we're going to read it from the layout, which is just find view by ID and r dot, right? R dot ID dot nums edit text. So what we are doing there is we refer to, let me show you which screen we're referring to. So we refer to this one, nums edit text, that screen, right? So now what we want to do, we pretty much just say put the action listener to it, right? So that means when I make change, right, add text change listener,